Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting.
You need them.
I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmstead, who's on 2 hours of sleep, and Alan Gilbreth, and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And I'm promising nothing today. You are
Who
getting...
lied to you and told you I'd had 2 hours?
Did you get any sleep?
Cumulatively, I might have gotten a full hour,
Okay.
but not in one sitting.
Yeah, you have a weird sleep cycle,
you're like
man.
Buddy the Elf, where it's like, oh yeah,
Don't you
I slept
dare,
the whole 40 minutes.
That's it.
Okay.
Comparing me to a Will Ferrell character, I don't want you in here anymore, Mac.
Okay. Anyway, I don't blame
Demon
you there.
child.
I don't think Will Ferrell's all that great, but
Well, peel the raccoon off your face and let's go, Brandon.
okay. So, Max, I guess you and Alan have a anniversary that you want to celebrate. As far-
Anniversaries.
a movie anniversary. Well, maybe that's where we kick it off. But there's a movie I can't offer a educated opinion on because I only saw it once and I didn't like it. But go ahead.
No, I wanted to kind of save that for a little later.
Okay.
I have one of the best uses of news that I've ever heard, and it's just one little bit. It's 1 minute I'd like to play for you all.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. We'll
Take
listen.
a pause.
Presenting CatCon. The world's largest cat-centric convention, CatCon, is having its 10th anniversary event coming up August 2nd and 3rd. It's at the Pasadena Convention Center in California.
It's going to be 10 years of Meowgic.
Organizer Susan Michaels says they'll have celebrity cat meetups and Project Catwalk.
Think Project Runway, but cat-inspired clothing for humans, not for cats.
About 200 kittens from Pasadena Humane are going to be available for adoption. A new game lets players pet a giant cat butt to score as many points as possible. Best of all, bring a picture of your cat and get them a tarot card reading.
People are going to come in, show pictures of their kitties, and then their kitties are going to basically have their fortunes told.
Take pause. Jill Nato, Fox News.
Okay, Brandon,
No. Hold on.
Yeah.
This is a real thing.
Yeah.
Why are we airing this without getting money?
No, my bigger thing is, Brandon, you were fired because why didn't you think of this? You talk about rolling in money.
Have you ever tried to corral cats? You have one.
Max, what is
You
this?
have one, and you can't control it.
This is the moneymaker of the century,
Well,
man.
the
Holy
nice thing
smokes.
is there's also cat-related celebrities that are coming to this, like Angela from The Office.
Oh, people, not like.
Like Earthly Kit will be there, right? Yeah.
This
Or
is
there's also
insane,
cat-related cosplays that people put on. Like, they dress up like scratching posts. You can't bring your cat, though, for safety reasons.
Oh, okay. So there's no cats there. See, Brandon.
No, there
there's
are
the
cats there,
workaround.
but you have to adopt them.
Okay, wait a minute.
It's a big push for adoption. We talked about doing that once before, and we never could get that. With the local shelters, and we haven't ever been able to get that lined up.
I don't know. This is Can you imagine what this vendor room looks like?
I just want to know why Alan wants a dead person there.
Holy smokes, man! CatCon, and it's the 10th anniversary. So clear. Wait. Where is this? Is this in California?
Pasadena.
Of course it's in California.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So
Where else would it be, Joe?
Well, no, I mean, Alan, I could see because there are when you talk about cat aficionados and they buy all the stuff for their cats in Japan. There's a cat culture out there that they are hardcore.
There's a cat culture down the street from your house, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, we have we have a I mean, have you ever been to Mutopia?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been in there.
Those
Yeah.
people are like hardcore, and they're wonderful people.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, I mean, and our guys from the Cinemasticast, Tannen and Wayne used to do hood cat transport. They would fill up their car with cats down here and take them across the state to another adoptable shelter.
Wow, isn't that something?
I mean, we've got a huge cat culture here. So last time I checked, you're the one with the purse strings. I just set up programming.
I don't know, man. Now we need to incorporate some of this.
We got to get
brilliance.
dogs too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get the dogs in coming. I think the cat's got a pretty good life around here. Like if they're making conventions dedicated to cats, it makes me think of this one joke that I heard where it's like,
Careful.
where it's like a dog looks at an owner that says, "Oh, they feed me, they give me a place to stay. They must be gods." And then the cat's like, "Oh, they feed me, give me a place to stay. I must be a god."
That kind of sums it up, man.
Pretty much.
Cats are. I never thought I'd like having a cat.
A dog looks at you as family. A cat looks at you as staff.
Yeah, pretty much. So I can't imagine what a whole convention of that. And I wonder what sort of cat people are there. I would think they probably have some sort of film festival involved with all the cat videos.
And the person who created it was called, his name I believe is like Nathan Kern. And he was like trying to break the whole stereotype of the crazy cat lady. And because his profile name is Nathan the Cat Lady.
Isn't this more or less reinforcing the crazy cat lady?
I don't think he broke anything.
Yeah, I think this is sort
I think he added rebar.
Okay, all right. Well, CatCon number 10.
I'm seriously, I'm looking at some of their, the stuff on their programming schedule. They start off on Saturday, August 2nd with From Kibble to Carnivore. How to transition your cat to a healthier diet successfully.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, I was on that panel, but that was at Dragon Con, and it was an entirely different
That didn't
panel.
have anything to do with cats.
Well, a cat was mentioned, but not in the way you think.
Panels are funny, man. So I could see this getting really. I mean, I got to go to this.
This might be getting a little too adult for a Sunday morning, Alan.
Go ahead. Careful. Is all I got to say.
People are going to need church after this episode.
CatCon. I mean, I hope there's videos of this, Max. I don't know. I'd make the trip out there to check this out.
The fashion show's at 2 p.m. It's called Peragic Catwalk.
Oh, brother. Yeah, isn't it just going to be all a bunch of puns?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine being an event, imagine at the MCFC, you guys have pretty decent ambiance, like pretty relaxing ambiance. Imagine being a volunteer for this con and you just hear meow, 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 meow all day.
Oh, here's one for you, Joe.
That
you
actually
like
happened to me at one show. No.
Yeah.
You like puppets, Joe?
Yeah.
Bob Baker's Meowinettes.
Oh.
Well, I'm going to be following this with great interest. I think CatCon, we need to incorporate that here in the Mid-South. So, all right. Well, man, we've got there's a lot going on, and we have a couple of anniversaries in cinema that we're going to celebrate when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. That guy in the slime tub from Dune really needs to get a sense of humor. The Geek Patrol is back.
I agree.
He needs a cat.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And Brandon has had zero sleep when he should. So whatever comes out of his mouth, we're not responsible for.
That's the most entertaining stuff that...
Yeah. But so far, you're doing okay, Brandon.
So far.
Okay. Hey,
they're gonna try and talk about a couple of movies that may invoke vulgarity, so I might have to walk away from the mic.
Okay. Well, Max, there was a couple of anniversaries, and it's funny the cinema that you want to point out here on the show, but
I want to point out because of the fact that it's significant to 1/4 of the staff.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well,
So
I
what do
wanted
you
to
got?
wish a very happy anniversaries to not only Ratatouille but also artificial intelligence.
Okay. Well, Alan, we
All right,
know
well,
your
Ratatouille
feelings
came
about...
out in 2007, so is that what anniversary are we celebrating?
18. Just the fact that it came out.
It's old enough to drive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The main thing that stuck out for me once, Alan, when you were discussing this movie was the fact of the way that they animated rain.
Yes. Every so often you have a movie that comes along and it may not be spectacular. It may not set a new standard for something, but like Monsters, Inc., we got semi-introduced to AI because Sully's hair moves so excellently.
Is that what made it do that?
Well, they actually had to write software that could make the hair, instead of having to animate Sully completely, they actually had a subroutine that animated his hair, which made him less of a 2D character and much more of a 3D character. And in Ratatouille, okay, we got a rat, we got the fur moving, we got the cooking, we got the whole thing going on. But the one scene that really shockingly stood out was just the animators showing off, because honestly, one of the most beautiful rain scenes in a movie was in Ratatouille. It wasn't a big feature. It wasn't something they pointed out. But when you see it, it's wow.
And if you know what you're seeing.
Did you guys, at no point in time did a bad rain sequence bring you out of the movie. At no point in time did water can be difficult. Moana pointed out, water can be difficult, but done right, it's absolutely astounding. So, one of my favorite things about Ratatouille is the pacing. If you haven't seen it, let's face it, spoiler alert, there's a rat that wants to be a chef. Anybody see a problem with that? Yeah.
If they'll let you cook, I don't see why they won't let a rat cook.
Well, his hands aren't big enough
you're
to
just
use.
as furry.
Yeah.
So.
Not on top of your head. But
now my cooking partner Scott. He's kind of the Richard Dreyfuss department.
Until Scott starts buying ad time, you can't promote him either.
That's true.
No promoting cat cons. No promoting Scott J. Carroll.
Well,
Alan,
I found it
but
interesting. We've gone from cats to rats.
Alan, I saw this movie once, didn't really care much about it, but you reference this movie a lot over our Geek Tank career. Brandon, I've heard him reference it repeatedly. So there must be more to it than just a rain scene for you.
It's got cooking in it. It's an Allen movie.
Is that what it is, though? Because a lot of movies have cooking.
It is not a movie about cooking. It is a movie about passion.
It's a movie about...
And letting absolutely nothing stand in your way to achieve your passion.
Okay.
That is what this movie is about. It's
a movie about trauma.
Yeah.
Generational trauma, like 90% of the other animated films out there.
I don't really remember the plot other than the rat wants to cook stuff, but
and then you got the kid who is
it's all right. The rat is being visited by a dead chef who died of a broken heart, whose restaurant was stolen by his sous chef, who is dragging him through the gutter. And, welcome to layers upon layers of storytelling.
That reminds me of the movie Coco. Another guy who,
Look. Oh. Another CGI animated generational trauma movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
we see
welcome.
A pattern.
Welcome to It's a Bad Place to Have a Family.
Right.
How do most animated movies begin? I don't know. Some kind of horrible tragedy.
Come on. We in theaters right now. We got Elio, where the kid loses his parents, and he just wants to leave the planet.
Yep.
He wants aliens to abduct him and take him away.
And guess what?
They do.
And he hides in one's mouth because he's not fireproof. I'm really kind of finding that disturbing.
Okay.
Oh, no,
hey, that was in the commercial,
not a spoiler.
dude.
It's in like one of the main commercials.
Yeah, that's the main commercial. I'm not spoiling anything. But, again,
I'm a bargaining chip.
Yep.
That's one of the best lines in
like
anything ever.
Sounds like a Ralph Wiggum quote. I'm a bargaining chip.
Oh. There's a lot of parallels between Ralph and this little alien dude.
Oh.
There really are.
All right, I might want to see that.
So,
It's very
Joe,
cute.
sometimes I think you like to surface watch a movie. You really do. You like to surface watch a movie.
You're amazing.
Because I love movies like The Fountain, which doesn't even necessarily.
But I think, Joe, in some cases you go into a movie as a surface watcher, and then you find the things that click with you. I don't know. I don't think The Fountain is one of those movies. I don't think when you went and saw The Chosen at the theater is one of those things. But there are certain movies you go into and you're just like, this looks like it's going to be mindless fun. Then it pulls at the heartstrings, and then you realize the deeper meaning.
There you go. You used the word heartstrings. Maybe that's what it was, Alan, because Max talked me into watching Attack on Titan, and you look at the premise, and it looks absurd.
It's
These
giant
giants,
naked people running around eating little people.
But they are masters at pulling at the heartstrings and making you care about the character. So maybe that's it. I just didn't care about the rat or something. But
you weren't supposed to care about the rat. You're supposed to care about the story.
You never passionately wanted, got like dragged down and not be allowed to do what you wanted to do.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how we got the convention.
Right.
No, I mean,
Well, I mean,
no, a lot of things you got to fight for your. I appreciate the
Yeah.
theme though. You got to fight for
well,
your.
you know, we talked about 50 years of Jaws and how nothing worked, and yet bloody mindedness. We still have a movie we're talking about 50 years later.
And
Max wants to bring up
apparently 2
another
weeks.
Spielberg movie, AI, which.
Not a Spielberg movie.
Not a Spielberg movie, but another unmitigated mess where you're not sure what worked.
And we'll talk about that when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Mr. Funny Bunny here will gauge your reaction by bombarding your brains with harmless snuggle rays.
He gives me a nice warm feeling in my eyeballs.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And, Brandon, it just occurred to me, we did tease this a couple weeks ago. We really do have exciting news coming for the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. We thought we'd be sharing it this week. Everybody that is involved with contracts and stuff is very slow, but we will hopefully by next week have the news.
It's like I love the
and I'm
people-
happy about it.
I love the people we're working with, and I'm glad that they're going through it tooth and nail to make sure that everything is, set up perfectly for us. But these guys do not work under crunch.
Yeah, they don't know the word of, time sensitive or whatever. It's like, we'll get to it when we get
It's
to it.
time sensitive. We'll get there in a week or two.
Yeah.
It's no big
anyway,
deal.
so stand by, folks, in case you were, anybody out there that
Pins and needles, chew your nails one more week. You'll be all right.
So, Max, there is another movie anniversary. This one I do have feelings about. So,
It's the anniversary of the release of the movie Artificial Intelligence with Haley Joel Osment.
And how old is that guy now? Like 58?
37.
No, I'm just kidding. but that was when was that movie out? 2003?
2001.
2001. Now, I'm assuming a lot of people have seen that. I thought that movie was very thought-provoking, but
Not to mention abusive. I mean, it was just
yeah.
Directed by Steven Spielberg. So we'll keep picking on Steven here a little bit.
How far away from this is Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List and all that when he started to do really heavy topics? Was this before or after that?
Kind of in the middle. It was a raft of them because this is the one where he was a producer on the movie with Kathleen Kennedy.
Huh, okay.
Just to throw in another name that we keep bandying about these days. When you go back and look at some of these movies, who all was involved gets pretty amazing because you see a lot of names. 25 years later, we're still seeing these names.
Right.
They're still in charge of stuff. They're still making stuff. Weird movie, lots of groundbreaking special effects for 2001. Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't
You're wrong.
Spielberg have something to do with the screenplay? Thought he did the screenplay too.
He polished the screen.
Okay, there we go.
It's Kubrick.
Well, did you guys like the movie? Because it's like one of those I thought was super interesting. I think I liked it, but it also I found a little unsettling, and I'm horrified that you think this has a happy ending.
It does. It has a very Spielbergian, eventually things are going to be great ending. It should have ended. Spoiler alert, guys! If you hadn't seen it, you weren't going to watch it anyway.
Right.
It should have ended when he is shutting down at the bottom of the sea, looking for the blue fairy, because that's where Kubrick wanted it to end. That's where Ian Watson wanted it to end. I'm pretty sure that's where the short story it's based off of ends.
Wait, I can't remember. Was the blue fairy his version of his mother, or is it like his version of God?
It's
or something?
literally him looking for the blue fairy from Pinocchio.
I know, but what did that represent to him?
It represented him wanting to be real.
That's right. So he had Pinocchio syndrome.
And once everything, the aliens show up and take over the decimated world because we screwed everything up like we're planning to do now anyway, they resurrected him and he was more like they were. Therefore, to them, he is real. And he basically got his happy ending because he had a family that cared for him. In the only way he knew how to be cared for.
Okay, but here's the thing. You say the aliens. Now, does it explicitly say these are aliens? Because
It's a Spielberg ending to a Kubrick movie. They're aliens.
I didn't think they were, Alan. I thought they were some sort of mutated humanoid mixed with technology creature that, like, I didn't think they were. I thought they were an offshoot of the human race.
You have a very weird and specific definition of alien. Alien means not of this world, not of this natural world. A cyborg would technically be alien to this world because it's not technically Alan's an alien to this world.
Well, yeah,
because he's got metal pieces.
That's not really
he's not well, yeah, but that's the thing. He is not natural of this world, but neither is Haley Joel Osment's character.
So how does that future of you? Okay, either aliens came and wiped it out, or we are
No,
partial humanoids with. How is that a happy ending?
The
to you?
aliens didn't wipe out anything, Joe. We did. The whole thing about that movie is how we, as a species, will annihilate everything that we don't understand or isn't like us until we eventually annihilate ourselves.
So it's like Terminator Zero.
Exactly.
And I ask again, how is that a happy ending? That sounds like a pretty awful
when the
ending
new
to me.
species comes, you know what, Joe?
You sound like that guy from The Simpsons. Say, hey, we can serve you in your underground sugar cave.
This is seriously like trying to explain astrophysics to a 2-year-old. It doesn't work.
None of it
because you don't get the concept I'm coming at. He wanted to belong. He wanted to be a real boy because the only thing that truly belonged in this universe were real people. To these creatures, whatever they be made of, they brought him in and accepted him. It's the same story that's in Elio now. He wants to be accepted. He got accepted by the aliens. They think he's the king of Earth.
You mean like Coco, where he wanted to be accepted?
Right. Just like every other one of these generational trauma animated films.
You mean like Bambi, who just wanted to be accepted?
Right.
So it's a happy ending for him. It's a horrible ending for humanity.
He's your protagonist. He's the only one who needs the happy ending.
I don't know, man. I think I'd rather root for the human race, but,
You know what?
This is the guy from Captain Underpants.
Really?
Joe,
I knew this would wake Brandon up.
Go out into the world right now. Tell me you're still rooting for the human race.
Oh, come on. I always will. I'll always stick up for humanity. But anyway,
you're a fool.
Alan, it's like. I mean, it is so easy.
It's not.
I wanted to wake him up, and here he is, fully animated now.
I would believe that you did this on purpose if and when you proved that you don't think the same thing in every other episode we've ever had.
All right. Well, let's see if my experiment, as it continues, plays out. What a weird sentence.
You're so wrong.
We're coming back.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
People of Earth, I am Lur, conqueror of your planet. Q screams. You will now remove your skulls and play dodgeball with them for my amusement.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And boy, has this been a lively exchange off the air. And I mean, it's not hard to provoke Brandon. And it's just interesting the different perspectives that the four of us bring to the table. So I don't really want to discuss those on the air, though.
I'll go ahead and discuss them.
No, but hey,
I could bring up the Bloody Heroes where they actually did throw skulls at each other. So
I did have a question for you that's more apropos to a Geek Tank discussion. So Brandon, I'm throwing it out to the panel. The other day I was watching Revenge of the Sith because I actually hadn't seen it in a while, and the one thing that always bugged me about Revenge of the Sith was how quick, like literally. One day, Anakin is saying, he says to Obi-Wan, Master, I've been ungrateful, all this, and I apologize. And he said, may the Force be with you. And they're all hunky dory and he's buddies. Literally 24 hours later, he's killing younglings and joining up with the Emperor. I always had a problem with that. I'm like, okay, I understand a turn, but that was a really fast turn. But then later in the movie, when he's getting ready to strangle his wife, he says we can, this nice kids movie that we're watching. He says Padme, we can overthrow the Emperor and we can rule the galaxy. So I'm like, okay, so that made a little more sense to me. He doesn't have any love for the Emperor. He was scheming
man.
all along to put his family ahead. But the killing younglings part is a little tough to swallow. So
people do a lot of things when despair takes hold of them.
Okay, talk to me.
And you notice it when Anakin needs Palpatine alive. He needs to know the secret on how to save Padme, and he is willing to risk everything to make sure that this. And then if you look at what's going on in the Senate room right there with Palpatine and Mace and the other fallen Jedi at that point, Anakin's the only one who's being reasonable at that point.
What do you mean by that?
He's coming from a selfish point of view, but he says he needs to be brought to justice. He needs to face trial. He needs to be brought up on the charges that the Jedi have levied at him.
In other words, law and order.
They need to do it by the book. Mace is, I don't know if you want to say he was drunk with power or if after the fight he was just like, all right, you attacked us, I'm going to put you down. You're a Sith Lord.
You just killed my three friends.
It's what we do.
Yeah.
And Anakin's like, no, we're better. Anakin doesn't say these words, but it's very much that same thing where it's like, the person who's of the higher authority trying to keep the other person who, like, you see it in like buddy cop movies and stuff like that, where Danny Glover had to tell Mel Gibson, this isn't the way this goes. And we
don't kill everybody.
We don't kill everybody. Eventually, they end up doing it anyway. But
yeah,
Anakin's that voice of reason. It's like, this is what we need to do. Now, it is coming from a selfish place because he needs Palpatine to teach him how to save Padme, and he's willing to go that distance. And when Mace goes to strike Palpatine down, Anakin stops him the only way he knows how, and that's through Force, because Jedi teachings, they ain't as balanced as they seem.
They're not subtle.
Yeah.
And that gave Palpatine his chance to vanquish Mace with the Sith lightning. When he goes out the window, of course, Anakin realizes that he just screwed everything up.
Right.
And you see the essence of Anakin leave his face as he drops into that seated position, at which point Palpatine knows he has him. Religious zealots and cult leaders do the same thing to people.
Generational trauma.
Yeah, we're kind of staying on that.
Oh no,
theme.
this ain't generational. This is
this
true
was
trauma.
straight up.
This is
slapped
straight
in
up
the head.
slammed to the head trauma.
Well, because
he just, in the moment that he cut Mace's hand off, he just cut himself off from the Jedi Order at that point.
That's a good point. He cut his hand off. He didn't slice his head off and kill him.
Right.
He was stopping him.
He was
trying to de-escalate.
But that gave Palpatine, which, again, this is why Jedi teachings are bad. Their idea of de-escalation is always cut somebody's hand off.
Everybody gets their hand cut off. That's sort of a rite of passage.
That's just like a Star Wars thing. It's like, you go
just
into...
call him
it's
lefty.
It's like the negotiator comes in, and they're like, yeah, I want this, I want this, I want this. And the guy just uses the Force to remove his hand, and it's like that's it. That's how you negotiate.
Okay, so you're because and then there's a couple other things like the scene before when Palpatine reveals to him that he's a Sith Lord. Anakin was pretty ticked off. He went and told the Jedi. So he's Palpatine betrayed him. So I think at that point is when Anakin stopped liking him.
Well,
and
of course, with that final, that thing with Mace and him and Palpatine, Anakin was truly lost at that point.
Yeah,
he's like, I'll do whatever I need to do, and everything he does from that point on was an order from the Emperor.
Well, after watching it and not having seen it in a while, then after watching Andor and all the other, I really, I know that the Revenge of the Sith has its quirky moments or just some, maybe whatever, but I love that movie. It really holds up for me, man. It's powerful too.
I get a lot of flack, but it is my favorite of the prequel trilogy.
Oh yeah,
and that's because
by far
it's and I mean, my problem with the first two are the fact that no matter how much sand, dirt, and everything else you've got out there, it's too clean.
Yeah, I mean the Attack of the Clones is a little.
There's that
a
moment.
much.
It's like, especially when Obi-Wan and Anakin are fighting on Mustafar.
Yeah.
And there's like scoring and soot and everything else, but you're seeing it on them and not just in the atmosphere.
And the music's really dramatic.
How is Padme going to be rolling around in a gladiatorial pit fighting a giant cat?
Yeah.
And getting cut, and yet her clothes are still perfectly white. It's a freaking Clorox commercial.
Yeah, that's true. And how come?
Well, and she stays coiffed.
And why did Boba Fett's head not bleed more or whatever?
Because the lightsaber cauterizes as it cuts.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair enough. All right, well, guys, we got to get out of here. The show's over. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Alan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
And I'm Brandon Olmstead. Too tired for anything funny, so go watch Ironheart on Disney+.